The occupational safety regulations for Dubai World clients and all business units of Dubai World operating within the area of Dubai World jurisdiction provide broad standards for ensuring a high level of safety of people, property, equipment and environment against hazards associated with industrial and commercial operations areas under Dubai World or PCFC jurisdiction. This document should be read in conjunction with other Turkey's regulatory documents regulations and also other applicable local or federal health, safety, environmental requirements. The authority operates under a system of prior and continuous approval, and no operation may commence until the facility operations have been inspected and the authority is satisfied that the facility meets its requirements and is fit to operate. When the authority is satisfied with the facility and operational health, safety, environmental controls, then an operation fitness certificate will be issued to be signed by officials of Environment, Health and Safety, EHS, and the competent department of the authority. The licensee is also responsible by the law under Ministerial Decision number 32 of 1982 and other federal or state regulations for the protection of their labor staff from risk at work, injuries, disease, fire, and so on that may result, and he must take the appropriate precautions to the satisfaction of the authority. The relevant international regulations and guidelines, such as Health and Safety Executive, HSE, UK, OSHA, NFPA, IAEA, API, ASME, and ASHR AE standards will be the baseline reference line for any requirements that have not been referred to these regulations. The scope of these regulations covers the following areas: occupational health and safety, public health, electrical regulations, general commodity storage, chemicals and petroleum products, equipment operations, basic operational requirements on fire protection, prevention and control. EHS is authorized to make visits to all facilities, operations, to ensure that the standards and requirements are being met. During these visits, unsatisfactory circumstances may be found, which need correction, and these are drawn to the attention of the company's senior management. Should any company not respond positively to notifications from EHS, then EHS will be constrained to take necessary actions, apply appropriate sanctions to ensure a safe and clean environment. Please ensure that you study this book and keep this publication readily for your reference. We look forward to your cooperation to enhance environment, health and safety standards. Roles and responsibilities. Major articles: employer and worker responsibilities. Article 1. Every employer shall provide adequate preventive and protective equipment conditions to protect workers against the dangers of accidents and occupational diseases that may occur during the work, and also against fire hazards and other hazards that may result from the use of machines, equipment, or any operations. He shall also adopt all regulations, guidelines, work instructions, and so on, issued by the competent department from time to time. Every worker shall use the protective equipment and the clothing supplied to him for this purpose, shall comply with all instructions given by the employer to protect him against hazards, and shall not take any action liable to hamper compliance with such instructions. In the same regard, all facilities, machinery, equipment, installation, material storage, and/or operations shall need to be approved by the competent department prior to operating there. Article 2. Every employer shall display detailed instructions in a conspicuous position at the workplace, indicating the measures to be taken to prevent fire and/or protect the workers against hazards to which they may be exposed while performing their work. Such instructions shall be in English and Arabic and in another language understood by the worker. Article 3. Every employer shall provide one or more first aid boxes containing medicines, bandages, antiseptics, and such other first aid material as may be required depending on the nature of work and as per guidelines of the competent department. There shall also be at least one first aid box for every 100 workers, regardless of nature of volume and nature of operations in the client's premises or facility. The box shall be located in a conspicuous place and within easy reach of the workers. Use of the box shall be entrusted to a person specialized in giving first aid. Article 4. Without prejudice to the provisions of the regulations and orders issued by the competent department, an employer shall ensure adequate safety, cleanliness, and ventilation in each workplace and shall provide each workplace with adequate lighting, drinking water, worker amenities, and sanitation toilets. Article 5. Noticeable diseases. An employer shall arrange for medical institutions approved by DOHMS and EHS to carry out pre-employment and subsequently periodic detailed medical examinations at intervals of not more than 6 months on those of his workers, in the opinion of the competent department, who are exposed to the danger of contracting any of the infectious occupational diseases. These diseases could fall under A. Diseases caused by agents, chemical, physical, or biological. B. Diseases of target organ systems, respiratory, skin, musculoskeletal. C. Occupational cancer. Table 1 indicates some of the typical occupational diseases that need to be assessed and reported. Any abnormal results of the periodic medical examinations shall be brought to the notice of the competent department immediately after the facts have been ascertained by means of medical and laboratory tests, the necessary procedures, and the employer shall enter the findings of such examination in his records and in the worker's files. The medical practitioner carrying out the periodic examination may require any worker who is exposed to occupational disease to be examined at suitable intervals, depending on the worker's condition. The competent department may direct the employer to take suitable preventive and/or corrective actions in regard to the worker's well-being. Article 6. An employer shall provide his workers with medical care facilities corresponding to the standards laid down by the country and Emirate of Dubai. Article 7. The competent department is authorized to prescribe the general and/or specific HS&E precautions and health protection measures applicable to all establishments employing workers under the jurisdiction of trustees from time to time, and it remains the responsibility of the lessee employer to update himself with the relevant HS and E requirements to ensure that all such precautions are taken. Article 8. The employer or his representative shall inform each worker at the time of his recruitment of the dangers associated with his occupation and of the protective measures he must take, and shall post detailed written instructions in this regard at the workplaces. The employer shall also ensure that all possible required training licensing requirements are met prior to permitting the employee to work on any equipment or area. Article 9. Every worker shall comply with the instructions and orders respecting industrial and personal safety precautions, use the necessary protective devices, and treat any such devices in his possession with due care. It shall be unlawful for a worker to commit any act leading to non-compliance with such instructions, to the misuse of the equipment provided for protecting the health and safety of the workers, or to the damage or destruction of such equipment. An employer may include in the disciplinary code penalties to be imposed on workers contravening the provisions of the same. However, it remains the responsibility of the employer to ensure that all employees are fully aware of health, safety, and environmental requirements at his workplace through suitable documented training, awareness drives, and so on. Article 10. An Operation Fitness Certificate, OFC, or EHS No Objection Certificate, EHS-NOC, for activity verification upon receipt of building completion certificate from Civil Engineering Department of Turkey for any facility at plot of land or leased built-up facility from EZW Dubai World Prospective Business Unit shall be obtained by any client, company, project operating in the area of EZW Dubai World Jurisdiction. Application should be made by the client as per the procedures to obtain Operation Fitness Certificate or EHS-NOC in the first instance to EHS Turkey, and it covers, but not limits, all clients, companies, projects operating in EZW Dubai World areas that have a lease and or license issued by a relevant authority of Dubai World and carry out either service, trading, manufacturing activities. This requirement also covers, but not limits, all client companies, projects operating in the SZ that have a TPA lease and carry out either service, trading, manufacturing activities. The process of Operation Fitness Certification and EHS No Objection Certification ensures environment, health, and safety requirements compliance of all commercial and industrial establishments operating on any facility within PCFC business units, Dubai World jurisdiction. The requirement of this certificate is mandatory for all companies prior to commercial operations. Application of EHS and OC is only for those functioning with activities in office facility without any physical storage operational activity and shops, except grocery, supermarket, cafeteria, as per their commercial, industrial, trading license issued by respective Dubai World Business Unit. Operation Fitness Certificate, OFC, EHS and OC, for activity verification shall be issued with validity which will eventually be in line with the client's license expiry date. Thereafter, it shall be renewed prior to expiry, whichever is earlier, with a maximum period of 15 months. Article 11. Wherever an existing company client modifies, adds to his facilities activities his exciting OFC and LC needs to be amended to reflect the changes in facilities activities. In the same regard, procedures to obtain OFC, EHS, and LC shall be followed prior to physically incorporate those changes activity in the existing facility activity. This is also applicable for subleases. Article 12. Any client facility premises damaged either partially or fully due to fire incident, structural collapse, any incident, accident within the facility or at nearby other facility shall not be operated commercially or on trail run basis unless authority of EHS, Civil Engineering Department and Fire Department tracheists inspected and approved with the issue of Operation Fitness Certificate. Article 13. The client shall be solely subject to the laws of the UAE for losses or damages in terms of life and property stemming from design errors, implementation errors, deficiencies of inspections, failure to comply with the required standards and rules of professional ethics, failure to use knowledge and experience to the contracting entity, and similar reasons, and successively severely liable with the contractors where the consultants have undertaken design control and inspection services on works. The consultants shall be caused to complete and compensate for any such losses or damages pursuant to the laws of the UAE. EHS trustees and authority having jurisdiction or any other departments of PCFC and their directors, officers, and other concerned personnel shall not be held responsible or liable for any such losses or damages, errors, deficiencies, and failures on the part of the consultant. Article 14. Sanctions and penalties. There are three broad types of unsatisfactory circumstances that have been identified. Grade 1. Where there is a serious nonconformity and or imminent danger to health or safety of the workers or other persons of the general public, a prohibition notice will be issued requiring immediate closure of the offending unit until the fault is corrected. Grade 2. Where there is a major fault with a potential danger to the health or safety of workers, public, but where it is considered that time can be given for correction, a correction notice will be issued setting out a time schedule for correction. Grade 3. There could be other circumstances which detract from the appearance and proper functioning of the works with a potential for health, safety, and environmental impacts, and which are drawn to the attention of works management either orally or by letter. Where the works licenses are persistent offenders or ignore persuasions, a warning notice will be sent setting out a schedule of correction. The employer, owner, company, occupier has the ultimate responsibility to ensure adherence to the above articles mandatorily, and failure to comply with the articles as above may result in sanctions, administrative, legal, operational, as determined by the competent department, and or penalties as laid down in the EHS tariff. 1.1. Role of authority, competent department. Without limiting the action of the competent department of the authority, EHS trackees in the protection of health and safety, the competent department is empowered to and responsible for issue or amend necessary regulations, guidelines, and codes of practice for the safe conduct of work. Inspect all workplaces, take samples or photographs, and issue directions, instructions to ensure compliance with health and safety requirements. Issue correction, warning, prohibition notices, and/or penalties where deemed required. Prepare and execute education, training, awareness programs, and/or recommend programs in health and safety and/or fire protection. Liaise with and advise local federal government departments, where applicable, on status of non-compliant companies' licenses to enable necessary actions. 1.2. Enforcement by the authority. The competent department, EHS, shall be responsible for the enforcement and implementation of these regulations for the protection of the health and safety of workers at all sites, locations, under the jurisdiction of trackees and operating under Dubai World or PCFC. Barring of EHS inspectorate. Any occupiers, contractors who refuses EHS inspectorate to enter into the premises to conduct inspection or perform EHS role shall be subjected to appropriate sanctions, administrative, legal, operational, as determined by the competent department and/or penalties provided in the existing EHS tariff. 1.3. HS&E representative, HS&E officer. The occupier of all industrial commercial establishments shall appoint at least one health and safety and environmental representative for each workplace. The health and safety and environmental representatives shall be competent to address the health and safety requirements of the organization and shall at all times ensure that health, safety, and environmental requirements of the authority are met. Where an employer employs in excess of 100 persons, or where, in the opinion of the competent department, any activity, manufacturing process, or operations is carried out, where the process or operation involves any risk of life or bodily injury, poisoning or disease, or any other hazard to health to the person employed, a full-time health, safety, and environmental qualified officer shall be employed in the factory. 1.4. Qualification of the health and safety and environmental officer. The duties, qualifications of the HS&E officer shall include the following. A. Practical experience of working in a similar establishment in a supervisory capacity for a period of not less than 3 years, or experience not less than 3 years in training, education, consultancy, or research in health and safety. And B. Possesses a degree, diploma in any branch of engineering or technology, or a degree in science, with a 1-year diploma certificate course in industrial safety, and adequate knowledge of English and the native languages of the workers. Knowledge of Arabic is an advantage. 1.5. Duty and responsibility of health and safety and environmental officer. The duties of the HS&E officer shall include the following. A. ensure that his facility operation at all times are in compliance with EHS requirements. B. Inspection of all workplaces, the promotion of the safe conduct of work, hazard identification, techniques, and communication of corrective measures to management. Issuance of hot-cold work permits for all non-routine works. Maintaining eye-wash, safety shower if required, first aid facilities, and personal protective equipment as demanded by the nature of the work, material safety data sheets. E. Investigating of all types of accidents and reporting to EHS, as well as accident prevention and maintaining accident records. F. Training of workers and assuring that they are issued with adequate instructions and creating awareness of safe work practice among them. G. Carrying out job safety analysis to determine hazards of the operations activity and facilitating suitable solutions. H. Ensuring that the provisions of this document, its references, and by municipality, local orders, regulations, guidelines, where applicable, are complied with. I. Maintain a record for all chemical dangerous goods used, stored at the premises, their material safety data sheets, and advise management staff on safe handling, transport, and storage practices. Refer also DM Code of Practice for Management of Dangerous Goods in the Emirate of Dubai. J. Conducting health, safety, and environmental audits on a regular basis and advise management for necessary action. K. Liaising with members of EHS on a regular basis to ensure that all local, state, federal health and safety requirements are met. (1.6) Responsibility of medical practitioners. Any medical practitioner, institution, and/or any employer aware of any occupational illness affecting any worker in establishment under Turkey's jurisdiction must inform the competent department and recommend suitable medical actions required by the employer, which may be enforced by the competent department. 1.7 Responsibility of companies towards third-party contractors, visitors. All companies shall be responsible to ensure that contractors, third-party workers, operate within their premises only after the written approval from the competent department. The health and safety of all visitors to the premises of any tenant shall remain the responsibility of the main tenant. It is not permitted to allow access of minors, medically unfit, challenged persons into an industrial premise. 1.8 Responsibility of third-party contractors, visitors. All third-party contractors, visitors to the premises of a licensee under PCFC Dubai World shall abide by the rules and regulations as set out by the authority, as well as the conditions that may be issued by the licensee during the period of his visit duties at the lessee's premises. 1.9 Responsibility of consultants. All consultants in engineering, health, safety, and environmental aspects shall be subject to the laws of the UAE for losses or damages in terms of life and property stemming from design, reporting errors, supervision and/or implementation errors, deficiencies of inspections, failure to construct in compliance with the required standards, failure to comply with rules of professional ethics, and similar reasons. The consultant shall be caused to complete and compensate for any such losses or damages pursuant to the laws of the UAE, EHS, or any other departments of PCFC and their directors, officers, and other concerned personnel shall not be held responsible or liable for any such losses or damages, errors, deficiencies, and failures on the part of the consultant.